What's poppin', Chess fam? It's your boy MindShaz here, and in today's video, what I'm going to be talking about is, in my opinion, the best guns that were showcased in the Destiny 2 beta. And yeah, I'm just going to be going over for each of the classes, besides, of course, the power weapon classes, because we were only given one gun per class. We had a linear fusion rifle, a sniper rifle, a grenade launcher, and a rocket launcher, so can't really do comparisons there. But for auto rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons, sidearms, and submachine guns, we got some variety in there. So I'm going to be talking about my favorites and probably, in my opinion, the best ones that performed for me personally. And we're just going to be talking about each one a little bit. And yeah, hopefully it's a solid video. Hope you guys learned something if you didn't already know. It's been pretty universally accepted as like the best guns, I'm pretty sure. Except the pulse rifle might be a little split, controversial if you guys don't agree with me. But let's begin. To begin with the audio rifle, we have a Safelock. The role on the Safelock is the intrinsic is adaptive frame, a well-rounded grip, reliable and sturdy. IS 5 circle for the first sight, Model 8 red, and then Mark 10 glass for the other two. High caliber rounds and tactical mag, and for the trait we have under pressure, improved stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower. We have a 600 round per minute and a 42 magazine. So this is a pretty cool looking gun. I'm not really here to talk about the look of the gun. I mean, it's pretty all around beast. Probably one of my favorite weapons in the beta. Like, my first game I ever played in the beta, I ran the Safelock, and I don't know the energy weapon, because I didn't care, because I was beasting and feasting with the Safelock. I went 18-1 in a countdown game. I don't know what flipping gameplay I'm going to be using in the background, and honestly might be that countdown gameplay. I mean, I'm going to probably use gameplay in this that I've already used before, because it's just going to be little snippets. But this is a pretty beastly auto rifle compared to the Deathstalker. The Deathstalker is really good, but in my opinion, the Safelock is more consistent. I believe it is a slower rate of fire, but it is still flipping beast. Like I said, one of my favorite weapons that we were able to use in the beta. It literally melts people from close to mid ranges and is overall just solid in the performance category. And like I said, it's the first weapon I use. It's just really smooth shooting, and in my opinion, the best gun for the beginning Destiny 2 players, even though it is a legendary, so we probably won't get it right off the bat. But it's one of those guns that you just get early, you know, like all those guns in Call of Duty that you get like the first level as a default class, and it's just really solid. It's just the best class until you hit level 4 to create your classes, but that's besides the point. Moving on to the good old pulse rifle. Now, you guys might not agree with me, because it's usually between the Nightshade and the Nurgle, but I had to pick the Nurgle PR4. The role on the Nurgle is the intrinsic perk is lightweight frame, superb handling, and you can move faster with this weapon while it is equipped. For the sights, we got Torch HS3 and Flash HS5. We have ricochet rounds and steady rounds. And then finally for the trait, we have full auto trigger system. Holding down the trigger will fire this weapon at the full auto mode. 385 RPM with a 33 magazine. I don't know, I think having a full auto pulse rifle just puts this higher than the Nightshade. The Nightshade is, of course, really good, and I think in my Nightshade video, I actually did say I liked the Nightshade the most. But, I don't know, getting a 27-0, we ran out of medals undefeated gameplay, you know, I mean, kind of puts it above the Nightshade personally. Of course, they are the top two, the Nightshade and the Nurgle, so if you guys are really torn between them, just flip and use both. I mean, one of them's kinetic in the Nightshade, and one of them's energy in the Nurgle. So, but I just like the Nurgle. It's full auto, flip and destroys. It definitely feels quicker with the full auto. I do believe it does the same amount of damage, and I actually think the RPM is the same at 385. But with full auto, I just feel a lot better. I feel a lot smoother. I feel like I'm really just absolutely melting people. I went 27-0 with this weapon, so I mean, why wouldn't I put this above the Nightshade? The Nightshade never did that for me. And like I said, full auto pulse rifles are really solid, especially paired with a good auto rifle or even a decent hand cannon. I usually paired it with the Safelock or the better Devils, because that's the kinetic hand cannon that we had. And the Nurgle's an energy weapon, so I had to pair it with a kinetic weapon. Okay, moving on, we have a hand cannon. My favorite hand cannon was actually an energy weapon as well. The Minuet 42. You guys might have used it. You never know. Anyways, the role, the intrinsic is adaptive frame, a well-rounded grip, reliable and sturdy. For the sights, we have Steady Hand HCS, True Sight HCS, and Crossfire HCS. Moving on, we have the Drop Mag or Flared Magwell. And finally, for the trait, we have Opening Shot, improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of attack, with a 140 rounds per minute and a magazine of 10 rounds. This thing packs a punch, and it feels better in my hands. It feels smoother to shoot than the Better Devils, although I did really like the Better Devils, and the Sunshot I was just not a fan of in player versus player game modes. I mean, and the Better Devils are good, but I think the Minuet goes with the kinetic weapons better than the Better Devils goes with the energy weapons, if that makes any sort of sense in your guys' brains, because my brain, stuff makes sense that might not make sense to you guys, so, I mean, you never know, but it definitely pairs great with the Nightshade. That was, like, one of the loadouts that a lot of people used, the Minuet 42 and the Nightshade. It was, like, one of the best loadouts, like, universally accepted best loadout. What am I saying? I don't even know what I'm going on about anymore. And it definitely feels like it packs more of a punch than the Better Devils, like I said earlier. And it does great DPS in the strike. So if you guys are PvE fans, this, in my opinion, was my go-to energy weapon. I did actually pair this with the Nightshade in my strike gameplay. So, yeah, Beast loadout in Crucible and the Inverted Spire Strike. So it's definitely great for both PvP and PvE. I really enjoyed that. Moving on to the submachine gun, we got the Phosphorus MG4. There was actually a decent amount of submachine guns that we were allowed to use. We had the Risk Runner, the Red Mamba, the Phosphorus, the Showrunner, and are there any others? If there are, I did not remember them. Okay, the role for this specific submachine gun, the intrinsic is lightweight frame, superb handling, and you move faster with this weapon. We have Candle PS and Flash HS5 for the sights. Then we got Alloy magazine, steady rounds, and phase magazine for the different types of mags. Then finally, our trait dynamic sway reduction. When holding down the trigger, this weapon's sway reduction system boosts accuracy and stability over time with the 900 rounds per minute and a 35 magazine. This is easily my favorite SMG performance-wise. Besides the Risk Runner, it's probably also my favorite looking out of the legendary ones. I mean, the Risk Runner just takes the cake for the most beautiful looking submachine gun. I mean, just look at the thing. It's beautiful. In my opinion, it's the best performer up close, especially with the whole dynamic sway reduction trait, because you do boost accuracy and stability, so you can stay fixated on your target with your weapon and your shooting. Obviously, over time, it'll improve as well, so it's really nice. Although the 35 mag, in my opinion, does kind of not help it a lot, I think you can really just tear through those bullets, especially at a 900 RPM. You literally tear through the 35 bullets, but it's okay, you know? If you're up close and you need to finish somebody off, it's really good. And, I mean, even if you're up close and you don't need to finish somebody off, I mean, thing flip and destroys. I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, it's my favorite looking one of the legendaries, and it pairs well with a good pulse or auto rifle, something with a little bit more range. You could also do it with a scout rifle, but I wasn't a huge fan of the scout rifles in this, what am I saying? What am I actually saying? Moving on to the sidearm, we have the needle. The roll for this gun, intrinsic is precision frame. This weapon's recoil pattern is more predictably vertical. We have control SAS, tactic SAS, target SAS, high caliber rounds, accurized rounds. Then for the trait, we got Zen Moment. Causing damage with this weapon increases its stability. You got a 260 rounds per minute and a 13 magazine. So, thing can flip and destroy people, you know what I mean, dog? So, honestly, I mean, sidearms are pretty meh in this. They're obviously not that great in D2 compared to Destiny 1. But in my opinion, this compared to the Urchin 3SI or whatever it was, it just felt a lot better. I like the needle. It was pretty standard sidearm. It felt smoother and more powerful, but of course, I'm not a huge fan of sidearms. This was also the gun that I paired with the Nurgle in my We Ran Out of Metals video. Just a quick, you know, fun fact. If you guys want to go check out the We Ran Out of Metals video, you know, it is on my flipping channel. Then, finally, for the scout rifle, we have the good old Black Scorpion. This was my favorite, of course, because you had the Viced Rapid Fire Intrinsic perk, full auto with deeper ammo reserves, slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. Just flipping amazing. Then you got full bore, fluted barrel, and arrowhead break on this scout rifle. Just beautiful. Then moving on, you got tactical mag, and then steady rounds. And finally, for the trait, you have moving target, increased movement speed, and target acquisition when moving while aiming down the sights. So, pretty scenario-based trait, if you ask me personally. But the Black Scorpion is honestly, it's a beautiful looking scout rifle. I really did enjoy the Vice weapons, and if you can hear my mouse clicking, it's because I actually had to watch the roll video for that. I didn't actually write that one down. I forgot because I'm a horrible person. But that's why you're hearing me click. But I did prefer this over the Does Not Compute. The Does Not Compute had like 10 in the mag, and it was just too slow in my opinion to do anything well. And I think full auto on a scout rifle is just flipping awesome. So I really liked this. You did definitely have to hit your headshots though, because it was kind of a pea shooter if you were hitting the body. But I think it looks better than the Does Not Compute. I really liked the Vice Foundry, and I think it performs better just because of the rate of fire. In my opinion, it's just a lot better. So for my final opinions, obviously time to kill was a big discussion in the community, and I think the way to resolve this is to slightly buff the weapons damage-wise. If you up the damage, you can tear through the health a little quicker. Don't obviously make it like flipping insane so you can like 3-tab with hand cannons again. I mean, obviously keep it to where you still need a team shot a little bit, but I think people do want to have that adjusted. My favorite kinds of the okay, nice. That's the way to speak English. My favorite kinds of weapons in the beta, based off the beta, were auto rifles and pulse rifles. By far, they just perform a ton of better than the as standalone weapons instead of just pairs, than hand cannons and sidearms and submachine guns and scout rifles. Obviously, those guns can do really well when they're paired with the correct thing, but auto rifles and pulse rifles as standalone weapons, as like primary used weapons in your game, I think are better. My favorite weapon was probably the Nurgle, and I hope there's a ton of weapons in the full game that are on or close to the level of the Nurgle, because that was easily my favorite performing weapon. Obviously, the Nightshade's up there, the Safelock is up there, so there's 2 other ones. And speaking of the Safelock, that was my second favorite weapon, because it was just so easy to use, and it's an all-around beast. It all around just performed great, and I think a lot of people who actually get that gun and are new to maybe Destiny's gunplay and things like that and time to kill, I think they'll have the best time with the Safelock or the Nurgle, so that's why I put them as my 2 favorite. Finally, I hope Destiny 2 is just full of unique, well-performing, and fun-to-use weapons, and of course they have to look cool, because that's the most important aspect of any weapon in any game. If it doesn't look cool, then why are you using it? You know what I mean? So that's going to wrap up my whole video on the weapons in the Destiny 2 beta that we experienced. I apologize if you guys hear me clicking my mouse multiple times, but I had to do some things that were clutch. Tell me guys in the comments down below what your guys' opinions on the weapons that we were shown in the beta, how you felt about them, and how you feel about how you think the weapons will be in Destiny 2 and the actual sorry about that, I had a little hiccup, in the actual game. Hopefully they're flipping beasts. But if you guys enjoyed, definitely drop a like. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. Love you guys so much. It's been your boy MindShaz. Have an amazing day, everybody, and peace out.